All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back here this Monday afternoon, July 19th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back, and quickly, might I say, here for our afternoon meeting. Great to see all of our students like Felix and Kathy and Jean and Ray, Debbie, Alphonse, even one of our new trial members joining us here still for this afternoon. And alongside Alphonse, everyone else that's joining us here coming off of last week's event. Great to see Lewis, and everybody else joining us inside Cyber Group, all of us in social media, Facebook Live, YouTube. Welcome on back. So we got to make this quick. If you feel that I talk fast to begin with, then I apologize in advance because we have the Phase 2 class coming up, lined up very shortly from now. We'll start right from the top of the gainers list. Bitcoin's been dropping. I told you folks, Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. We'll talk a bit about Bitcoin. We'll kind of do an abridged version, but of course I'll show it at the end. Not looking that great. So we'll talk about that there, like I said, just coming up. But the AEHR trade, we would have found this anyway on the percent gainers list. Number 3 right now, up over 58%. Breaking a new HOD heading into the afternoon, needless to be said, or rather just to be quick, we'll just put this on our watch list here right away. Just to see a stock with great liquidity like this, cheap, at or near the highs right now at this time of the day, it's like going to be right at the top of our list right away. So, AEHR we'll start with, but right away we'll go from the top. You got the NRXP trade. The warrant's actually up more by a little bit than the actual stock itself. The NRXP trade, this was more of a pre-market play early in the morning. Ended up diving off though. I mean, even in pre-market, but afterwards, it really didn't provide as much for us compared to what we would have hoped, at least right off the bat. It ended up making this big pop going into the early to mid-afternoon, right around 1 p.m. Eastern. It broke out pretty much from that resistance, roughly off of 1250. Pretty unexpected because when the volume dies off, so does the stock. And the volume died off on this trade going into even like 11:30. So it wasn't as if we were watching this trade like throughout the whole morning into the afternoon. No, so we ended up calling out the pop because it broke a regular session high of the day, and it popped up on our scanners, climbed up more on the percent gainers list from there. So hey, even from 13, ended up making a nice 2-point push up towards just 15. And right now though, I don't know, it's still kind of making this pattern of lower highs, wiggling back down. It's like in this range still. So I'm not as keen to put it on our watch list just yet. If it ends up making a big pop and proving its worth for us during the meeting as I go through, then you call it out. Let me know. CYTK pre-market play, it looks like. I didn't really follow this as much into the open. It was on our watch list just from the morning, but it had really thin volume on the order book, and given its price, I wouldn't have imagined the spreads to tighten up at 9:30. So I figured that the AEHR is a better play. Even the XCLA trade, which wasn't on the main list, that was one that we were following at least from last week. Just again, this one ended up making a bit of a pop, I guess, but volume died off really quick. It's starting to make a bit of a base here and I guess push up, but there's better ones to choose from here. We're in the dog days of summer. It's only a Monday. We're going to go into earnings season soon. We're not just there yet. We're going to have some big names coming out this week, but I would probably say even more next week, and we'll see a lot of volatility altogether in the market. MTSL may have just jumped over this AHPI stock. I don't know. Looks like it just leapfrogged it as I clicked on the gainers list here. So yeah, it looks like this is still holding its trend here off the highs. Making higher lows and trying to move back up to the HOD right now, roughly over 550. So yeah, similar to the AEHR, I do like this one. MTSL. I know one of our students, Patrick, was commenting on this earlier, saying it was still looking pretty good. That was a little while back, but hey, it still is right now. So we'll put this back on our list. Really quick, just got a chat from Daniel F on YouTube. I usually check the chat all at the end, but my eyes gravitated more towards my other screen here. So Daniel said, MOXC just blew up. I don't know if anyone in Cyber Group just called that right now. MOXC just blew up. So let's take a look at that really quick. I don't really want to go too far off course here. Nice call, because it did really make a sharp pop from like 24 up to 28 nearly. I wouldn't have found this on the gainer side. It's not up enough. So I appreciate that call out, Daniel. Unless if this thing was up a lot more and really if it didn't pull back at the time, I would have been more interested in seeing this try and make a steadier push up. But I'll come back to this at least at the end. Not a bad shout at all from Daniel on YouTube. All right, so we'll keep it going, though. We'll see what else we got. The AHPI now leapfrogged MTSL. ended up making more of a push after the market opened up. We did call this out going into more so the mid to late morning, nearly at the end of our audio broadcast, myself and Fausto early in the morning. So at that point, we ended up seeing this make the push up, but ended up breaking higher more so heading into the early parts of the afternoon. Broke out off a rebreak from 7, a couple of false breakouts from there, across the morning. But even right now, it's holding a base, pushing back up. The same with this on the other stocks. The liquidity is all right, but the spread could open up a bit. It could be a penny or two here and there. And then next thing you know, it's like 8 cents, 10 cents. So just like that. There we go. Good timing. So we'll put this on our list, but more of a level 3 to 4 trade. All right, let's get away from these for right now. APT. This one was looking a lot better from the morning, ended up making this push from 8 towards just over 950. I was the one that had called this out going into the mid-morning. I wish I could say I took my own trade. I was too focused on the others, and I didn't think that this would make as steady of a squeeze up towards 950 as it really did. I was calling it out at the time. It was at 840, 850. So to expect $1 plus at that time, it's not guaranteed by any measures. And we traded the stock in the past over the past year and a half off the pandemic. I believe this is a vaccine-related stock. If it's not vaccine, then I think it's antibody testing between this and a couple of others that we'll go over in just a moment. But yeah, for right now, we'll put this on our list. It was a nice trade from earlier today, and really holding its own here too. A lot of familiar names, really. ALF. About time this thing begins to squeeze back up. Ended up making a bit of a pop back on Friday to wrap things up, but came back down. And today you don't really expect it to make the run, like I said before, in APT. But here we are. Ended up calling it out from the morning, and ended up making a nice trend up towards the highs here. So again, another one that's kind of like AHPI, where it has thin volume on the book, probably thinner volume on the book compared to that last one. But yeah, we'll definitely re-add this ALF. Got a lot of tongue twister stocks today. ALF, AHPI, AEHR, and now AEMD. I guess really just a lot of A's. But ended up making a nice pop after the open. Again, it's right there. It's not as close to the highs, but perhaps in the beginnings of making a higher low. I'll come back to this at a minimum. I feel like I'll add this at the very end of our list, AEMD. All right, for any of the Phase 2 students inside Cyber Group, really quickly, Rich just posted the link for class. If you'd like to make sure that you're set up early in advance to make sure that the audio checks out well, that the screen checks out well, just make sure that you click that link that Rich posted inside Cyber Group. As anyone just joining on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, I'm referring to any of our classes that we conduct monthly. If you're interested in joining us, I would just say start off as a trial member first inside our trading room. Just go right down to the link on the banner below the stream. All right, so we're familiar with ALF, we're familiar with APT, well, really APT, and we're familiar with NVAX. And I say that those two in particular because, like the APT trade, Novavax was a big vaccine stock back from January, February of last year, and sporadically off of news, we've seen it make this big pop, breaking all-time highs, way out of our price range. But if that was at the high, APT, if NVAX here is at the high, let's just skip ahead right now while we're at it. VXRT. We have the SRNE trade I thought I saw. It was kind of hiding its name here just a moment ago, I thought. I know that the INO trade was at the high of the day earlier today. So a lot of these vaccine-related stocks, just with the Delta variant news coming out, or at least more of it coming out across the weekend and from last week. CODX, unfortunately, not trading as much volume, thinner book. INO, more of a level 1 to 2 stock. This one I wouldn't mind adding to our list here. Maybe slower moving. Oh, Sorrento pulled off the highs. I saw that breaking higher going into 230, but it's back down now. Out of all the vaccine stocks, that APT trade looked the best. I'm calling it a vaccine stock. It might be antibody testing, that one in particular. But definitely VXRT will add to our list. And for right now, I don't know. I'll add the INO trade, Novio Pharmaceuticals. All right, just to clarify even further, I don't got the time to do this, simultaneously. If I could, I would. I appreciate Debbie, one of our students, helping me out here. She says the APT trade, it was more so at the PPE, the personal protective equipment, like the manufacturer of like the masks and all of that. All right, so even further, I appreciate that. It's good to know. All right, so let's see what else we got on the gainer side. Let's see any other familiar names. Oh, that's right. Geez, how could I forget? Out of all of the vaccine-related stocks, or we'll just generalize them and say COVID-related stocks. PPE, the vaccine, antibody, OCGN. This is a vaccine stock, but this stock in particular, we were calling out from the morning. I was like surprised. I was like thinking of one more just before, and if you heard the lapse in audio, that was me trying to think of this one. Yeah, the OCGN definitely we'll put on our list, more with the APT and VXRT and INO stocks. All right, cool. Now we have a pretty good list. I feel like this so far. It's not going to be OCGN. Perhaps it'll be VXRT. If it's not that, perhaps it'll be one of the others. Jaguar, JAGX, familiar name too, ended up popping more from the morning, I guess, but pretty flat right now, this stock. Not a whole lot going on. Maybe keep it on your side list for tomorrow morning. Who knows? Moderna we saw from the end of last week, right? MRNA. So we even wrapped that up at the end of last week, saying with the mask policy increasing in California again, at least indoors. This was pushing up quite a bit. I don't know if there was any news related to the company itself, perhaps with their vaccine or drug itself, but nonetheless, this has only been pushing up from Wednesday of last week, right? So it's not to say that I was the one that told you this, but I had said, if you are an options trader, not everyone here is, and if you were looking to do more of a call on this stock, if you're not looking to day trade the equity itself, that could be an option. I mean, hey, that could have worked out day over day into this week, and perhaps even further as it's breaking all-time highs still, but more expensive as a stock, though. I'd pass on this as a day trade. Space, how about this? Space from percent losers to percent gainers. And ended up making a big push as soon as the market opened up. Here it is right now, still near the highs. I hope that Felix is still in, one of our students. I thought he made a post just before, but I ended up missing it right before I started. But right now, definitely Space. We'll put on our list here as well. Pretty interesting with the market dropping off the way it is. You're seeing some stocks, I mean, more of them, the vaccine and COVID stocks, but at least Space is alongside with it. SPI's the low of the day right now, has only been dropping off from the morning. All right, so let's see what else we got here, though. I don't think there's much on the gainers end otherwise. What we'll do is hop over to the loser side. I would assume, or I would have, I would have assumed for there to be more stocks that we're familiar with on the loser side here. But we got a lot of stocks that are on the gainers end that we know of, that we've done really well on in the past consistently. A lot of stocks down big, though. You could see, I mean, really the top 50 stocks that are still down more than 50%. All right, I guess I got to do a little extra legwork right now, really quick. I'm just going to open up the percent losers list here on TradeStation to 100 now, and we'll really see what's out there. Current time 2:43. I'm making pretty good timing here. All right, XCLA. Again, one from the last week and a half, 2 weeks we've been following. I was interested in this stock in the morning, not to guarantee it was going to bounce. In fact, I didn't trade this stock today. I was really interested in it in pre-market. I was hopeful for a bounce. Actually, the play that I had on this, it would have worked out. I guess I turned away from it. Now I'm realizing it right now in the moment. I was looking for a bounce on this stock exactly from 290 level. I had a line marked on my chart at 290 this morning, and I just looked at the low of the day today. It's 291. I took my eyes off it way too soon, or at least way beforehand, and it wouldn't have given me nearly as much as I wanted. Probably would have expected this to run back up towards 350. Only ran up to 320 and bounced from there. But yeah, I guess for right now, we'll keep this on the side list. This is the XCLA trade. I guess I skipped over Atos. This stock's been getting crushed from last week. Really, the beginning of last week, it's been dropping and shortable too. I'll tell you, I'm really skimming the losers list here, looking for my UALs, my NCLHs, my cruise lines and airlines, or perhaps vice versa, respectively. I don't really see them. All right, we'll jump over to some of those stocks. I mean, these are all stocks we followed from the pandemic, and if you were following us on the streams at the end of last week, we were seeing the market drop off, and all of these stocks were moving with the market on the way down during COVID last year, during the beginning of the pandemic. So just really flat here is the NCLH. UAL not moving nearly as well as it was at the end of last week on the way down. Neo on the way up, I guess making a higher low or perhaps in the building of it. All right, that's it, folks. That's all you got from me so far. If there's anything else that you see that looks good, that's up, down, left, right, more than as I usually say, 5%, let me know here in the chat boards. MTSL, a stock that's on our list already. That's still breaking higher. Just want you to know that. Already on our list. All right, from Ashen on YouTube. I'm just checking the YouTube chat right now, so I apologize. Asking CRTD possible scalp to 410. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't bet on that, at least by this afternoon. If it happens, great. I would be happy to be wrong. But just lower highs, volume totally died off. Maybe tomorrow, if that's a swing trade possibility. I don't know if that's what your plan is there, Ashen. But my insight would be no. At least certainly not by today. If it ends up doing that, then God bless, and I'd be happy to be wrong. But it might be more tomorrow. Maybe that'll happen this week at some point, perhaps, maybe, hopefully, possibly. So that leaves me to tell you that I'm pretty uncertain altogether about that. All right, actually, you know what? I'll just flip it over to Benzinga Pro on the loser side of things more than the gainer side with the market dropping off. I just want to see if there's any stocks that are perhaps breaking lower. Didn't really see a whole lot before. See, I mean, we talked about this in our class earlier today, and this will be a little free tip for all of us on social media. I truly mean that because, if you come from the swing trading side of things or the investing standpoint where you're holding on to positions, for at least, 3 to 6 months, you would be way more influenced by what the major indices are doing, like the S&P 500 or, the NASDAQ 100, the Dow Jones, obviously. The market's at the low of the day. We're not really seeing that much movement on the stocks that I was looking forward to checking out. Like, again, the NCLH is there, the, Neo's even. That's moving up. Palantir's up right now. So it's not to say that everything's moving with the market. Can't guarantee shorts across the whole afternoon just because the SPY's at the low. I mean, most of our list is from the gainer side. The whole thing's from the gainer side, actually, now that I'm looking at it. There we go. Oh, how about this? You know what? I'll show this because it just interests me. Ashen says, greetings from Istanbul. Thanks for your video. Oh, no, thank you for joining us. I mean, really, for anyone international outside the U.S. or outside of North America, really, I appreciate you just due to the time zone difference sticking with us here. That's pretty cool. All right, folks, I'll tell you, that's all you got from me, and that's all I got from you folks in the chat board, really, and that's fine. I mean, we have a really good list so far. I'll check out the MOXC trade to wrap things up. That was on the side. The AEMD trade, and of course, I told you, get the Bitcoin. So this isn't doing a whole lot since the pop. It was a really good call out at the time from Daniel, again, on YouTube. If it ends up making, a bigger pop or a lot more volume comes in on the order book, then I'd be interested. AEMD, I don't mind, I guess, adding this to our list right now. Out of all of them, I'll probably put this on the bottom. It's not to say it's, the craziest, the most volatile, the most risky. No. But it's still building a support. It's got to make a bigger pop to get closer to that 480 resistance and then break higher from there. There are other stocks that are just naturally closer to the highs of the day right now compared to this. That's all. All right, Bitcoin, then we'll close it out. And I told you folks, actually, that, on Friday, and again, for anyone joining us new, for anyone interested in crypto at a minimum, at least there, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll be showing you my Bitcoin chart and going over my thoughts as we track Bitcoin. To tell you this, though, I told you at least going into Friday, if I did buy Bitcoin, I'd let you know. I plan on buying more of it too, but it ended up dropping off after I got in. Here's where we left off on Friday, this vertical line. This is practically from the market close. Ended up making another move back up towards the 100 EMA. This is on the hourly chart in this today, but ended up failing. And we figured that was going to be the case. I wasn't feeling that great about Bitcoin's direction after it ended up failing to break out over the 500 EMA here 2 weeks ago, right? Go back to this afternoon meeting back on the 11th. I told you, if it ends up failing to really begin to pop up and run from here, then it's not looking as good. And that was before the increased talks of inflation and COVID Delta variants and all of that. So those are other factors that are just driving the markets down lower, naturally, not just Bitcoin. I mean, you've seen it today on the S&P. So I ended up getting in last night. I ended up getting in right around, I forgot the exact price. It was 31.6 something here. Put $1,000 in. So ended up dropping off. I'm fine. This is completely different compared to what we preach in terms of our trading room and our strategy that we're about to talk about inside our class. And that's day trading, right? I mean, this is investing. This is holding on for a longer period of time. I'm holding on to this for years to come, and then let alone I'm certainly confident about Bitcoin breaking all-time highs at least by December. So, for right now, if it ends up dropping off more, then I'll kind of be patient and wait to see this, maybe accumulate more or consolidate more, and then I'll accumulate myself. I haven't bought Bitcoin from the last time. I don't remember the exact date, but I think it was back from like mid-May here, I believe. Forgot the exact date, but it's been a while. So we'll see what happens. We'll track it. We got earnings season coming up. It's only a matter of time before any of the bigger companies out there puts Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Earnings would be the time to announce that. So we'll see what happens. All right. You know what? I'll show it on Wednesday. I have one more feature, but I'll show it on Wednesday. A little cliffhanger for any one of us on social media, at least. All right, so for all of us there right now, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every afternoon on Facebook and YouTube Live. I don't know if it's YouTube Live or Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Either way, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every afternoon. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, or hit the notification icon on our YouTube channel, that being youtube.com/cybertradingu. And again, like I'd said from before, if you have yet to join our live trading room, feel free to do so. Go right down to the link on the banner below just to get yourself started on a small trial. I know that Rich will be doing the audio commentary for all of us there heading into the close. I'll be in class. I look forward to seeing all of our Phase 2 students at least coming up. We'll be continuing our talk from where we left off in Phase 1 in relation to the ECN book, otherwise Level 3. All right, I'll talk to you soon.